Hello, this is Mingo with the Medical Marijuana News Update. Last summer we introduced you to Jean Marlowe from Polk County, North Carolina. Jean brings unique credentials to her struggle with the federal government over her right to use whole natural cannabis to control her debilitating pain.
In 1986, I fell at work and crushed my left knee and had a lot of muscle and nerve damage. I had to have surgery to remove part of a cartilage and all this. And ever since I was a little bitty kid, I couldn't take pills very well. I'd throw up, and even one-a-day vitamins, I would throw up. They started me on a regimen of pain and muscle relaxing medicines due to the problems, and within 9 months I had developed a liver problem. My eyes had turned yellow.
Not until September of 1998 would Jean know the reason for all her suffering when a doctor from Asheville, North Carolina, Louis Bissell, correctly diagnosed her various conditions as stemming from an inherited liver disorder.
Jean is 47 years old, I think, at this point, and for several years has had an unusual condition that was diagnosed and with several other diagnoses, including rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis. She has had back problems and degenerative osteoarthritis, and it turns out that all of these are manifestations of a condition known as porphyria. Porphyria is a disorder of the heme, H-E-M-E, the hemoglobin metabolism, which is the process where hemoglobin is broken down and then recycled in the liver, spleen, and lymph organs to form red blood cells and white blood cells again. The disorder of porphyria is a manifestation of one or two of these enzymes that don't function in this breakdown and recycling of the heme molecules in the hemoglobin. This has multiple ramifications as far as its impact on the physiology and the pathology of the body. Abdominal distress is a very common symptom which she has had for years. Muscle spasms, low back pain, multiple joint symptoms are part of this disorder.
That's about the time that a nurse from the VA told me that I should try marijuana, that they had had tremendous amount of success with it in the VA hospitals with soldiers who were, and veterans who were suffering with spasticity disorder. So the next muscle spasm I had, my husband had went and gotten me some, and he rolled me a marijuana cigarette, and within 5 minutes, the muscle spasm stopped. Within 10 minutes, my stomach stopped shaking for the first time in over 5 years.
The other very important thing is that it does relieve muscle spasm, and it seems to clearly have an effect on smooth muscle with a relaxation of smooth muscle. And my feeling is that there's certainly in this disorder there may be vascular spasm, in other words, vasospasm of the blood vessels, and it certainly appears to me that the cannabis may relieve this spasm as well as increase and improve what I call microcirculation or capillary circulation, perhaps in many areas of the body, including the brain, including the muscles, including probably in the liver also.
Impressed by the dramatic improvements that cannabis brought to Jean's quality of life, and denied access to the healing herb by a hypocritical medical and justice system, Jean and her husband Steve Marlowe became politically active.
It's been a real fight. I've started having rallies to educate people in 1995 on the Polk County Courthouse lawn. I wanted to educate people to the medical issue. FDA had just approved research for marijuana in AIDS-related cases, but they wouldn't provide any marijuana for the research. Neither would the DEA. And I thought, well, that was just terribly wrong, and I wanted people to be educated. So I started having rallies, and local authorities didn't particularly like it, and they told me not to do that anymore. And I just don't really take well to people telling me I can't exercise my rights to free speech and free assembly, so I did. And then when Social Security papers came, and they actually were documented, that says that I could not take these other medications and that I used marijuana, then I agreed to a news interview with a local TV station, in which I smoked marijuana in a water pipe that filters out any impurities or anything that could be in commercial marijuana, to get the dirt and impurities out of it. And I smoked it through a water pipe. Said that 2 or 3 puffs was enough to be a dose for medicine, and then it would last you until you needed 2 or 3 more.
It affects her legs, back, and muscles. Pain and severe muscle spasms had her taking 6 different medications every day.
I couldn't remember from one day to the next what I did. I couldn't balance my checkbook. I couldn't function.
4 years ago, it was suggested she try marijuana to help alleviate pain and relieve spasms. She began smoking marijuana, stopped taking all prescription medications, and claims it's the only thing that works.
It helped so dramatically that I flushed all the pills down the commode. And I've relied on nothing since 1991.
Jean is listed as 95% disabled. This week, the Social Security Administration approved her use of marijuana under their experimental drug therapy policy. She is one of only a handful of people in the country who has the government seal of approval to smoke pot. She smokes the equivalent of 3 marijuana cigarettes per day.
And that 3 times is a dose of medicine, and it lasts about 3 hours.
So even though the government has okayed Mrs. Marlowe to use marijuana, finding a legal source of it is a different story. Most pharmacies will not carry it, and most doctors across the state will not prescribe it. So for the time being, she will continue to count on her illegal ways of obtaining the drug. In Polk County, Tracy Martin, News Channel 7.
And 3 days later, the authorities came in and arrested me and took me off to jail.
4-year-old Jean Marlowe was arrested and her marijuana confiscated. News Channel 7's Tracy Martin has the latest.
After searching the home of Steve and Jean Marlowe, the Polk County Sheriff's Department brought the couple in for questioning. Earlier this week, News Channel 7 reported that the 44-year-old woman had received the acknowledgement from the Social Security Administration that she could use marijuana to control pain. The okay from the government allows for prescription use of marijuana prescribed by a doctor who monitors the use as part of an experimental program. Criteria the sheriff's office doesn't feel has been met.
We executed a search warrant this morning. I can't tell you anything other. We haven't filed all the charges and everything yet. Be a while.
But do you think you may file charges?
Oh, sure. That's about all I can tell you.
Inside the couple's home, a small amount of marijuana, some marijuana plants, and items the sheriff's office calls drug paraphernalia were confiscated. In an interview earlier this week, Jean Marlowe says she uses marijuana to control pain. She suffers from a degenerative disease.
If I have no marijuana for as long as 2 days, I have muscle spasms so excruciating that I have to be taken to the emergency room and be given multiple shots to release the muscle spasms. This has happened on several occasions.
The matter of smoking marijuana legally as a form of medicine is new ground, and the Polk County law enforcement says they'll need a lot more clarification before this issue is dropped. In Polk County, Tracy Martin, News Channel 7.
Mrs. Marlowe is free from the Polk County Jail tonight. She plans to contact the American Civil Liberties Union to ask for legal advice.
It went to district court, and the district attorney didn't feel like it would serve any purpose to pursue the case, and he dismissed it. And I asked the judge for my property back. And they said, well, if I wasn't indicted within 30 days, I'd get it back. And so I went, after 31 days, I went to the sheriff's department to get my grow lights back, and they wouldn't let me have them. So I sued the sheriff's department for return of my personal property, and that really started a war.